Officials are Byron Jarrett, Todd Austin, and Lucas Santos. And we are underway. First possession of the game goes to the home side. And the matchup right out of the chute, Lamont Butler and Elijah Martin, they played against each other in the national semifinal 2 years ago. San Diego State the win over Florida Atlantic on the shot by Butler.
Florida is a much improved defensive team from last season. They protect the rim, do a good job of loading to the ball.
Andrew Carr got a pretty good look at it. It couldn't hit it, and it's tipped down to the Gators. These are two outstanding offensive teams. Clayton, Martin, Richard, between them are averaging almost 47 points per game. Walter Clayton Jr. with a great shot fake, can't hit it, but the offensive rebound and putback will go for Ruben Chinyelu, and that is part of the game plan for the Gators, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the nation.
They get 41% of their own misses. That's top 3 in the country.
Butler tried to scoop it up from underneath the rim, nowhere to go, and it's 5-on-4 right now for the Gators.
And for Florida, as long as they don't turn it over and get a shot up, they do such a good job on the offensive glass. That's a gigantic part of their offense.
12 of their 13 wins have come by at least 13 points. The only one that was closer than that was a 6-point win over North Carolina in Charlotte in December. Good defense, out of bounds, still Florida ball with 4 on the shot clock. We had a chance to visit with Mark Pope, the head coach of Kentucky, before the game, and how many times did he use the word like grateful or gratitude or some version of that word when talking about what it means to be in an environment like this, in a league like this, against a team like this, and Florida's off to a good start.
Well, Walter Clayton Jr. had a great game here last year. He made 6 threes, but that's just too easy when you're the inbounds guy. You inbound it and come back and get it for an easy 3.
They had 2 great games between these two programs last year, each winning on the other team's home court. Kentucky by 2, but Gainesville, Florida in overtime here in Lexington. A steal by Owe.
Chinyelu with another offensive rebound. Owe just took it away from him late.
Owe, the leading scorer, misses the runner, and the follow is going to go for Amari Williams to get Kentucky on the board.
Amari Williams, who transferred in from Drexel, is the leading rebounder for this Kentucky team. He is 3rd in the Southeastern Conference, grabs about 2 offensive rebounds a game. But when Condon went to try to block that shot, that allowed him to wedge in even further and get that offensive board.
The foul on Chinyelu, his first, and Williams at the line, averaging 10 points, 8.5 rebounds per game. And we have a lane violation. Williams also a terrific passer. As is Brandon Garrison, who often backs him up. Kentucky's going to run a lot of offense through their 5-men.
Yeah, Amari Williams can really handle the ball, and as you said, a really good passer. Does have some turnover issues, so you can put some pressure on him.
As we mentioned off the top, the only scheduled regular season meeting between the two. Of course, the SEC's gotten bigger and bigger. This is the first time in 60 years these two programs will only meet once during the regular season. Condon open for a 3. And it's out of bounds, Florida ball, so Chinyelu doesn't get credit for a rebound, but they get a possession out of it, and it's part of the DNA of Todd Golden's program, right? Getting on the offensive glass.
Well, Chinyelu is just so strong and physical, and he's pushing around Amari Williams right now. No fouling, but he's also a physical screener. Chinyelu does a great job of getting guys open.
Chinyelu takes a little bump from Williams and rattles it home to make it a 4-point lead for the Gators.
Just can't let him get that deep. Chinyelu is not an offensive player. Only averages about 5 points per game, mostly off stickbacks.
Golden told us yesterday at practice they'll look at his numbers after the game, and he's like 5-4, 6-5. But then they'll watch the tape the next day and see how many different ways he impacted winning for the Gators.
So especially with his physicality on the glass and defensively. Good rim protector.
Condon with a nice shot fake, gets inside and draws the foul.
Condon is a skilled player. His last 3 games averaging 9 rebounds, 4 of them offensively, and 2.5 blocks over that period.
I know some people are looking at this game from a Florida perspective and saying, hey, they haven't beaten any ranked teams yet. They've beaten some good teams, but no great teams. Do you look at it this way, that they're a little bit more of an unknown than Kentucky because their schedule not quite as tough in the non-conference?
That's probably true. Not as big of a spotlight to start the season as Kentucky has had. But this Florida team is legit. They are really, really good. And they're not just their starting five. They have good bench players, especially Denzel Aberdeen. You bring him, they got 4 legit guards.
Yeah. And 4 big guys that Todd Golden rotates through to make sure he's always got some muscle up front. Mark Pope referred to Denzel Aberdeen before the game today as terrifying. The Kentucky staff as a whole, they've got a ton of respect for Aberdeen when he comes in off the bench.
But the defensive improvement from last year to this year for Florida has been really impressive. They could score last year, they couldn't guard.
Andrew Carr will miss the 3. Jackson Robinson runs it down, but he's out of bounds and it's Gator ball.
Last year, Florida's biggest issue was protecting the rim. They were giving up a lot around the rim. This year, they are doing a great job inside the line of challenging shots, walling up, making you take tough twos. And that gives the guards the ability, because they can defend the rim, the guards on the perimeter can press up, and they get a lot of steals.
Elijah Martin, and a nice seal there by Chinyelu to open up that laneway for Martin.
He is a downhill driver and one tough player. These 3 guards can all score, and they do it differently.
They've all been around, and they've combined for over 4,400 points in their careers. The bucket goes to the other end for Robinson.
Kentucky's going to have to work really hard to make hard cuts and go through that physicality, but really what the Wildcats need to do is get to the second side of the floor. Florida can really muck things up on the first side.
Knocked away by Owe. In transition, the Cats. Robinson misses the 3. Owe had it. Out of bounds, the officials confer, and it's going to be Kentucky ball.
Scoring, assists, and steal. And when he gets that little zoom action, turns the corner, he can get to the rim. 2 straight games with an injury. He was magnificent.
Brandon Garrison has checked into the game for Kentucky, number 10 in white. There's a kick ball on Martin, so they'll reset the shot clock to 20.
Boy, Elijah Martin is such a competitor, so physical. He was an outstanding high school football player, as Walter Clayton Jr. was. And he brings a ton of physicality on the ball against Lamont Butler.
Carr up top, wide open. Tries another 3, and this time he buries it.
You give Andrew Carr a little bit of time to get his feet set, and he's a very good 3-point shooter. If you can hustle him up a little bit, he only shoots 30% from 3, but he's a better shooter than that, and it's largely because he has time to get his feet set.
Mark Pope loves his leadership, loves his decision-making as well. How about the spin of the finish for Alex Condon, the sophomore from Perth, Australia?
A little open side pick and roll. Lamont Butler had to switch off onto him. That's just no contest near the basket.
Chinyelu rips down the rebound. The Kentucky faithful wanted to travel. And now it's Condon and Carr. They'll be battling all day long as Condon misses this one. Yet another offensive rebound, though, and the putback for Chinyelu.
That's 3 offensive rebounds for Chinyelu. He has been dominant in the paint at both ends of the floor.
And 5 already for the team, less than 5.5 minutes into the game.
And 2 of those are what they call dead ball offensive rebounds. The ball went out of bounds, and they keep it. But Chinyelu's grabbed all the live ones.
Robinson with a long 2, and he comes up empty. Robinson came with Mark Pope from BYU. Chinyelu's going to get a lot of high-fiving from that bench with the effort he's given so far.
Right, he just throws Brandon Garrison right out of the way. And Garrison is a big, strong inside player. Chinyelu has been dominant in the paint.
And again, second in Division I in offensive rebounding percentage. They get back 41% of their misses.
And it's not just the big guys, great pass.
And a great backdoor cut, and Denzel Aberdeen, the junior from Orlando, is on the board.
You think that Aberdeen's going to come off for a handoff, and instead cuts it short, goes backdoor, and just a beautiful delivery by Condon.
And what a start for the Gators, playing their style of basketball here in a hostile environment.
And so physical.
Kobe Brea, one of the nation's best three-point shooters, 49% from beyond the arc on the season.
I think he is the best shooter in the country. He can't take enough threes.
Richard to a cutting Thomas. Hauku will lay it in, and again, good ball movement by the Gators.
Florida is just cutting up Kentucky right now with their ball screens, just cutting them up.
Butler off the front of the rim, and the rebound down to Hauk. It is Hauk who has come in for Chinyelu. Hauk is a very versatile 6'9" sophomore from New Oxford, PA.
A multi-skilled big guy. Both Hauk and Condon are multi-skilled, and Condon can grab a defensive rebound, bring the ball up himself.
Yeah, the bigs can handle, the guards can rebound. It's a very tight 8-man rotation for the most part here by Florida, but every one of them really contributes.
Florida doing a really nice job going against pressure. The great back cut by Aberdeen and a beautiful delivery by Alex Condon. And this last one, that was a screen and roll right to the basket. And really not a very good job at all by Kentucky in handling some of the ball screen offense that Florida's thrown out there. Florida started out a few possessions in a horn set. They go to horns fade, and they've gotten some really good action out of that. But the ball screens, I think Kentucky's really got to clean up their coverages.
Hauk has taken a number of steps forward this year from freshman to sophomore season, and at the free throw line is one of them. 46% last year, 82% this year.
He grades out as the most efficient offensive player that Florida has. His offensive rating is the highest on the Gators roster.
You know, one of the reasons for that also, he can knock down a three. He's 40%, 10 out of 25.
But every time he drives, unless he has a straight line drive, he's going to spin. And I think Kentucky can. They did that against Cooper Flagg when they played Duke. If he spins, they can sit on that, maybe get a steal.
Amari Williams returns. And for the first time today, Ansley Almanor, a 6'7" senior, a transfer from Fairleigh Dickinson, is into the game and out for the Wildcats. Robinson into the paint, can't get a shot off over the length of Sam Alexis, who has checked in for Florida.
Boy, that was a really good job by Will Richard to chase him off the line and into the big guys in the paint, force a tough two.
Butler inside, and Williams to finish.
Kentucky scored on that possession, but they got no look from three, and that's what Florida wants to do, is take away their three-point attack.
We expect an up-and-down, high-scoring game. Both teams in the top 10 of the nation in points per game and offensive efficiency. They both play at a good pace. This one should get up into the 80s, you would think.
Well, Will Richard has done a nice job. He's staying with Kobe Brea, not helping off and getting over screens.
Williams, nice look away, and the slam. And Kentucky back within 5. It is bedlam here at Rupp Arena. Clayton Jr., the long three.
He is just a big-time player. Can hit dribble-up threes in transition. He can score off of screens.
Almanor tries to answer at the other end. And here comes Clayton, a couple of years at Iona, second year with Florida, second team All-SEC a year ago. There's Hauk for three, and the lead is into double digits now for the Gators.
Both Hauk and Condon, as big guys, 6'9" and 6'11", shoot over 40% from three.
Butler on the drive, runs into a wall, but wide open is Brea, and that is costly. That is not the defense Todd Golden wants to see, leaving one of the best shooters in the country wide open in the corner.
Yeah, that's impossible. That is a Kobe Brea layup.
Clayton the miss, Williams the board.
The first thing when you have the ball, or when you're on defense, is you got to find Kobe Brea. That's job number one.
And Aberdeen called for the foul to take us to immediate timeout. It is 26-18 Gators.
Score. A big-time shooter that can get hot in a hurry And when you've got two big guys like Houck and Condon that can knock down threes, that will...
Non-conference run won 89% of their games, but as impressive as that was and is, Jay, it's all ratcheted up a level now that league play is underway. Williams to the rim with authority and met by Chinyelu.
Boy, what a block by Chinyelu on the keeper. Talk about rim protection. He's been a difference maker this year in Florida's defense.
Transfer from Washington State. Again, Todd Golden wants four bigs up there he can rotate through to keep the pressure on the offensive glass. We asked him yesterday, has that always been part of your philosophy? He said, no, going back to San Francisco, they saw it in the West Coast Conference from Gonzaga. He watched Mark Few's teams and admired how many big bodies he could rotate through. Brea, another rejection at the rim. And it's a shot clock violation with a defensive stand by the Gators.
Boy, Florida has just built a wall at the rim, but watch Chinyelu here. Takes it right out of the hands of Amari Williams as he goes in for that left-handed jam. That is a big-time block.
Clayton with a little floater around and out of the rebound down to Otega Owe.
That is tough to guard, that little horn spade, because he can curl it or go off it.
Great crossover and finish by Owe, and he is headed to the line.
Otega Owe has been a second-half player for Kentucky this season, but he's going to have to get it going in the first half. Great crossover, gets the contact and able to finish it over the big guy of Florida. Owe is strong, physical, gets downhill, usually a right driver, but that time driving left.
The transfer from Oklahoma is Kentucky's leading scorer this season at just under 16 points per game, but they got a lot of weapons, both teams do. Kentucky has 6 players averaging in double figures on the year.
Sticking with this horn set. I think Kentucky's got to get out and pressure these big guys.
Aberdeen. And a foul underneath on Amari Williams away from the ball.
Chinyelu just went down and locked him down. And instead of breaking contact to get around in front, they just got in a wrestling match. Watch Chinyelu and how physically he gets into the post and just wedges him into the middle. You got to break contact there and get around. You get into a wrestling match, that's advantage Chinyelu.
Mark Pope, a big guy in his playing days, is talking about that call with one of the officials right now. It's number 2 on Williams. A really good look there for Martin, won't go down, and back comes Kentucky.
For Kentucky, they've got to get all 5 guys to the defensive glass. The guards have to help the big guys here.
A wing 3, no, but a weak side follow for Owe to make it a 3-point game. You know how sometimes games that start early don't have quite the juice, don't have quite the feel? This one does not have that issue at all. It is a scene here in Lexington. Brea ties it! An 11-0 run for the Cats. Martin cut off on the baseline, and they turn it over.
Kentucky has really ratcheted up the defense the last 4 or 5 possessions. And that's what it's going to take to beat this Florida team here in Rupp.
Butler swings it back out for Owe. Still 12 on the shot clock. Owe, what strength as he banks it home.
Crosses over to get back to that right hand where he can be devastated.
Richard misses the 3, and Almanor down with the rebound for the Wildcats.
Big time blockout by Ansley Almanor. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take body on body when every shot goes up.
Owe again! Each and every game, Otega Owe has now reached double figures for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it started with defensive energy on the part of Kentucky, and then all 5 guys got on the defensive glass. They shut off the offensive glass for Florida, which is a huge part of the Gators' offense.
If you're Todd Golden, what do you want to see at the offensive end?
I think they should go to more ball screens because Kentucky had a really tough time guarding that early on in the game.
Condon for 3, not there. Chinyelu, offensive rebound. Back up and in.
That's his 4th offensive rebound in this first half. He has been a monster on the offensive glass.
And that will snap the long drought for the Gators and get them back within 3. Brea behind the handoff, left open. And a break for the Gators that he didn't knock that one down.
Yeah, Florida got lucky there. You cannot go under any action on Kobe Brea. You have to chase him over the top, make him get inside that line.
4 years at Dayton, 2-time A-10 6th man of the year, and now a huge force off the bench for Kentucky this season.
Lamont Butler just picking up that foul on Walter Clayton Jr. And that's an issue where they really miss Kerr Kriisa with his foot injury, because Lamont Butler can't take as many chances defensively because he's got to stay in the game. And when Kerr Kriisa was in the lineup, that gave them a ton of energy, even though his numbers haven't been great. But it also gave Lamont Butler a little more time to rest.
Yeah, good distributor, great energy, a big voice. Hoping to get him back later in the season. So for a couple of games, they were without Kriisa and Butler, and Jackson Robinson had to slide over and play the point into the game, and you'll see him here and there as freshman Travis Perry. A huge score in Kentucky high school basketball, a lay-in for Garrison.
Chinyelu just got caught in the passing lane. Didn't have his body in between Garrison and the basket. Garrison with a very intelligent back cut. And not enough pressure on the ball to take away that pass. You see Condon's hands not really all over Andrew Carr to take away his vision, make him turn his back. Just a terrific cut by Brandon Garrison.
And this is a loss for the Gators given the way that he has played already here today. Ruben Chinyelu just picked up his 2nd, and he goes to the bench with 6:03 left in the half.
And oddly enough, Chinyelu did not play very much at Washington State, largely because he was playing behind Isaac Jones, who's in the NBA now.
The Gators still have Condon and Houck up front. They've got a good rotation, good depth, as we mentioned. Another backdoor cut. Richard got it onto the rim, but not over, and it's Kentucky ball.
Yeah, he doesn't miss many of those. Just a little Iverson cut over the top and turn the corner rather than shoot out to the wing for the catch.
This is Perry, again a huge score in high school, better than 5,300 points in his high school career. That is a Kentucky record. Brea can't get the shot off. Now Carr, 5 on the shot clock. Robinson, Brea, count it!
Well, you take your eyes off Kobe Brea just for a second and think about giving help, and Kentucky is going to find him.
Martin tries to answer at the other end. Condon the rebound.
Brea could not block him out. Condon just went right over the top.
Condon to Clayton. Back to Condon, who will lay it in and one.
Boy, what a beautiful pass on that open side pick and roll. Because the ball had gone to the second side, that's really difficult to guard. Beautiful pocket pass by Walter Clayton Jr. Condon beautifully opens up to the ball and keeps his eyes on the rim. Your eyes make layups. He never took his eyes off the rim, even after the contact.
Condon, a member of the SEC All-Freshman team a year ago. A guy who, before he fully committed to basketball, also played Australian rules football and water polo. So a very diverse, unique skill set athletically for Alex Condon.
And I don't think this is an overstatement. The best cricket player on the floor.
Probably the best water polo player on the floor, too. Going to go out on that limb. Knocked away, out of bounds, still Kentucky ball. Pretty good basketball player, too.
Well, he's really good. These young big guys for Florida are going to continue to get better and better. And Florida's done a good job with continuity. They brought in some new players, some transfers, but they've got a core group that was here last year, and for a couple of these guys been here for 3 years.
Perry gets it back, puts it up. And Condon the rebound as Robinson was flying in trying to take it away from him. Crossover by Clayton, and he buries it to make it a 2-point game.
Just an effortless shooter from deep, and when he gets hot, he can really get on a roll.
Clayton averaging 17, now into double figures with 10. Brea on the drive this time, left hand off the glass and good.
He's such an outstanding shooter. You have to press up on him. If he can get a few of those, that may loosen some things up a little bit.
Brea having himself a day. He's got 14. Martin fouled on the drive. Tennessee 1, Auburn 2, Alabama 5, Florida 6. And again, winning 89% of their non-conference games. And as Coach and Andrea and Kevin said back in the studio, every single day, every single night, Jay, in SEC play is going to be just like this.
Well, since conference expansion, Dan, there's not been a conference like this. I mean, 15 of the 16 teams are ranked in the top 60 of the net ratings that the NCAA uses to make decisions on the NCAA tournament. It's ridiculous, the strength of this league from top to bottom.
Great backdoor cut and the lay-in for Robinson. There are only 3 remaining undefeated teams. They're all in the SEC. You're looking at one of them in Florida. You'll see one of the other ones next in number 1 Tennessee when they host Arkansas. And then 6 o'clock Eastern on the SEC network tonight. The third, Oklahoma. They'll be in Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama as Martin knocks down a big 3 for the Gators.
Martin needed that one. He and Richard were 0 for 4 from 3, while Walter Clayton Jr. was the one knocking him down for Florida. But Florida tries to keep the ball to one side, and they load to the ball. So if you can get it to the second side, you got an opportunity.
Boy, Martin just took it away from Owe. Those are 2 strong guys, and then Martin gets fouled by Williams.
Well, Elijah Martin averages close to 2 steals a game. His steals come on the ball. Will Richard averages 2 steals a game. His steals come off the ball. So you have to know where Richard is, but you got to be strong with the ball against Elijah Martin because he'll take it right out of your hands.
And how do you feel about the foul? That's Williams committing his 3rd foul, obviously trying to stop a transition opportunity, but that is going to put one of the really most important players Kentucky has on the bench right now.
Yeah, not a smart foul. You certainly don't want to let the ball go the other way, but as a big guy, you got to be smart there.
The rebound for Garrison, who's going to get Williams minutes the rest of the half. Ooh, and Butler inadvertently tripped there by Elijah Martin, who will get called for the foul. The team's 6th, so no bonus. And just the first on Martin. Martin goes over to Butler and say, hey man, I didn't mean to do that. Everybody's okay?
Yeah, when I mean to trip you, I'll let you know.
Yeah. 2:45 to go in what has been an extremely fun and competitive first half. And there's Thomas Houck called for the foul, and Andrew Carr is going to go to the line as now it is bonus.
Boy, some good sets run by Kentucky the last few times down. After the timeout, you had Jackson Robinson going off that little elbow action where he curled to the basket for a bucket, and then Andrew Carr getting into high-low action and really doing a good job of sealing his defender right under the basket.
Second foul on Houck. He's gone to the bench. Condon is back in.
The recently engaged Andrew Carr.
Yes. Who misses the front end of the 1-and-1, and Condon down with a rebound.
Is that an announcer jinx when I mentioned his engagement?
No. I think that is beyond the scope of your powers, no offense. Martin.
What a steal.
Butler, outstanding on-ball defender, almost took it away from him. Richard flies in from the baseline and lays it in.
Boy, we are seeing some guys just balling out there.
Robinson answers with a 3 at the other end for Kentucky. What a game, and what a way to get conference play underway here in the SEC.
That's the Jackson Robinson I remember from BYU. He has not shot the ball as well as he's capable yet.
Martin, no, out of bounds. Wildcats have it.
Will Richard going to the other side of the basket to get that to go. Just a beautiful shot going right away from the two shot blockers on the left side of the hoop. And then Jackson Robinson, he does not need much time, especially in transition. And he is only shooting 30% from three this year, but he's essentially a 40% career three-point shooter.
And Kentucky, as Robinson hits again, Kentucky is an impressive 7 of 16, 44% from three. And now Butler takes it away from Clayton, lays it in and one.
Boy, Dan, not only the steal, which is the second he's had in the last few plays, he just does such a great job of sizing up the ball handler. He sized him up, took it away with the right hand, but watch the use of the body to get that foul on Condon. Protected the ball, got it to go, but just beautiful, beautiful defense with that right hand. Watch how he shields the ball off with the left hand and uses his body so Condon has to come over the top and foul him.
When Mark Pope took the job, he had no team, no players. And if you ask him, he'll say Lamont Butler is the guy he had to get, and he got him. And all of a sudden, it's gone from a tie back to an 8-point lead for the Cats. And a double dribble will give it back to Kentucky.
This is a really important minute 21 for Florida. They need some stops and scores to get back in this so Kentucky doesn't stretch this lead out going into halftime. Remember, Kentucky's got the possession arrow, so unless there's a tie-up, they start the second half with the ball.
Butler from 18, it will go, and it's a 10-point lead. On the strength of a 10-0 run, they've had a 16-0 run and a 10-0 run already here in the game.
Chinyelu picked up a foul on Garrison there. He's going to go to the free throw line. Lamont Butler is such a good basketball player. He has really improved on the offensive end from last year to this year.
Second on Garrison. What a women's basketball doubleheader we've got for you tomorrow afternoon here on ESPN and the app. Hannah Hidalgo and number 3 Notre Dame taking on number 17 ranked North Carolina. And then it'll be Tennessee and Oklahoma. The Lady Vols are undefeated as well. Chinyelu makes them both.
Chinyelu has had a great first half, battling 2 fouls, and Todd Golden going to get him out of there so he doesn't pick up his third.
Kentucky by 8, final minute of the first half. Top 10 matchup here at Rupp. Number 6 Florida, number 10 Kentucky. Owe left hand, followed by Card. He's going to the line.
Anytime Florida's had 2 shot blockers, it's opened up the offensive glass. You have to be intelligent for the shots you're trying to block, especially if you've already got a teammate that's there to challenge that shot. You put 2 on the ball around the basket, it makes it really difficult to close off the offensive glass.
Kentucky's 2 most notable wins this year over Duke and Gonzaga, and in each of those 2 games, Andrew Carr, the transfer from Wake Forest, was their leading scorer. And that's one of the many fun things about both of these teams, really, is harnessed to both, is in any given game, Jay, they both got 5, 6, 7 guys, any one of whom could step up and be the guy on that day.
You got to have that kind of balance, and then you can go to the hot hand. It's a nice way to play.
Florida can run it right down here and try to cut into this deficit.
Box out's really important for Kentucky after the initial shot.
Clayton turned it over. Butler again. Lamont Butler just took over the game. We are ready to go. The second half here of our Sonic Blockbuster. It's Florida with the first possession, facing a 10-point deficit. Again, the Gators, one of 3 remaining undefeated teams. They're all in the SEC. Tennessee, which will host Arkansas next on ESPN, and Oklahoma, which is at Alabama this evening on the SEC network. And a 3 for Martin on the first trip of the second half for the Gators.
And the 3 because of the offensive rebound. The kick out, and then when you drive it, that was an excellent shot fake by Walter Clayton Jr.
And now Martin down with the rebound for Florida. They're looking to push. Clayton pulls up for 3. And it will go, in 6 very quick points for Florida here to start the second half.
He is so good at dribbling into a shot in transition.
Amari Williams with the ball. Great feed to the cutting Butler, and another example of how Mark Pope runs offense through his bigs.
This Kentucky team can initiate offense all over the floor. They can do it in the post. They get great split action, and Lamont Butler, with a knockaway from behind against Walter Clayton Jr., saved what could have been a layup.
Keep in mind, Williams playing with 3 fouls. He is the only player on either side with 3. And Martin got tripped up a little bit by Owe. There was no call. He couldn't catch the pass, and it's out of bounds and a turnover.
Well, there was definitely a ton of physicality on that cut. Todd Golden saying, what, we can't cut? Like, watch right here. Tega Owe gets right into him and just gives him a little bump, but the referees just didn't call it.
Much to the chagrin of Todd Golden in his 3rd year as the head coach in Gainesville. Again, they have beaten the likes of Carolina, Wake Forest, Arizona State, Florida State, and others, but they knew what a test they would get here at Lexington, and likewise the Cats knew what kind of a test they'd get from the undefeated Gators. Williams, the lefty, draws a foul.
Kinulu really getting up to try to pressure Amari Williams. That's where Williams goes against the pressure. If you give him any angle, he's going to try to get to that left hand. And he's a good driver from the top of the key.
So Williams, the transfer from Drexel, is at the line for Kentucky.
And he is the best player I've ever seen from Nottingham, England.
Who's second?
Robin Hood.
No.
Friar Tuck was good.
Yeah. One of 2, and another rebound for Ginular. Condon, the handoff to Martin. Clayton rises up, misses the 3, but a foul is called on Lamont Butler, and it'll be 3 free throws for Walter Clayton Jr.
Looked like he barely got a piece of his hand as Walter Clayton Jr. was letting that go. Not much.
And not only are you sending a guy to the line for 3, you're sending a 91%. See what I did there?
Yep.
A 91% free throw shooter to the line for 3.
I got a guy in the first half on a marriage proposal.
It's true. But he's still engaged. My guy missed a free throw. Last year, in that one stretch, Clayton made 42 in a row.
Now you're just piling on.
I know. 2 for 3 and a 5-point game.
You must be great on a no-hitter.
Williams looking for Robinson, can't get it to him. Now Butler. Robinson got it. It's a 3.
He has been hot in this game. If you're not right on him, He is going to pull the trigger on it. Jackson Robinson is really a good player.
The Cats already have 5 different players with at least 8 points in this game. Robinson is up to a dozen.
That three-point line is such a threat for Kentucky. You really have to fan out the three-point shooters, and that opens up drives and cuts to the basket.
Richard drives and lays it in. Boy, when Will Richard wants to get to the rim, good luck trying to keep him away from it.
And all created by a little up fake.
Carr spins.
What a pass.
Williams up and in with the left hand, and it is an 8-point game. Boy, Amari Williams so good at getting back to that right shoulder.
Just a great wraparound pass by Andrew Carr.
High-level basketball here early on a Saturday in Lexington. Through the hands of Chinyelu. Martin for 3. And an offensive rebound by Richard. It's not just the bigs who can go get it for Florida. Richard for 3. And another offensive rebound. Martin will try again and knock it down.
And that shows for Florida when they don't turn it over, and they have turned it over a bit in this game. They have such a great opportunity when they get a shot up to grab an offensive board.
Owe couldn't finish. Back come the Gators. Clayton.
Wow. That was in and out.
Yeah.
Going against Amari Williams, just a little step back.
Checking in for Kentucky is Travis Perry.
Couple of subs coming in. Travis Perry getting spot duty ever since the injury to Kirk Kriisa. He's back in. Garrison takes the place of Williams. This game being played with great pace. Martin with the ball, pressure on Perry, who finds Garrison. Up over the top and too far over the top for Carr. It goes back to Florida.
Now, part of that, they were trying to go high-low, and part of that was the pass to Brandon Garrison wasn't a good one. He had to reach back for it. So probably rushed that a little bit, trying to get it into Carr in the high-low action.
Martin into the paint. And the whistle blows, and he will be at the free throw line when we come back. And whenever you and I talk to an SEC coach, they'll inevitably say something like, you know, and nobody even talks about Mississippi State, or nobody even talks about Texas A&M, et cetera, et cetera. There are a lot of teams getting a lot of publicity. There are a lot of other teams that are really, really good as well.
And one of the challenges, Dan, is through SEC play, you can have a top 25 team and go on a 3-game slide.
Yeah.
And how do you keep your team confident, knowing, hey, we're playing well? It's not going to be all result driven. It's going to be how you're playing and how you're progressing.
Well, to your point, how about the way Florida starts conference play? Today at Kentucky, Tuesday night at home to number 1 Tennessee, and next weekend on the road in Fayetteville against Arkansas. But every team's got stretches like that.
Exactly. One of the issues that Florida's got is so many of the top flight games they're playing are on the road.
Yeah. This is their only meeting with Kentucky as Perry knocks down a 3. As you can see, Mr. Basketball in the state of Kentucky, as we mentioned, over 5,000 points scored in his high school career.
And that's important for Kentucky. They've got to get a couple of the freshmen to step forward with Kirk Kriisa out and take a bit of a jump. Just right when he gives the ball up after setting that screen, he comes around, takes a little handoff and a little shoot behind when Brandon Garrison just gives it back to him. Really well run. He goes from screener to scorer.
Attended Lyon County, and again, 5,381 points. Clayton at the line for Florida. As now Perry will sit. He just spells Butler a little bit here, a little bit there. This is the way the rotation has evolved since the injury to Kirk Kriisa. And Kriisa, the first guy up with that boot on, cheering on Perry after he knocked down that 3.
5,000 points in high school is hard to fathom. Yeah. Those are 32-minute games.
14 minutes, 4 points against Brown in Kentucky's last game. 6-point lead for the Wildcats. Just about 5 minutes into the second half here at Rupp. Almanor in and out. He can shoot it. Ansley Almanor hit 168 threes his last 2 years at Fairleigh Dickinson.
Boy, what a job by Butler to get over the top of that screen.
Nice shot there by Elijah Martin, and Florida's not going away.
This is a game where you just have to grind and hang in there on the road. Give yourself a chance down the stretch.
Brea, Richard giving chase. 10 to shoot. Butler almost loses his balance and is called for the travel.
Will Richard, he just turned right into Richard as he was chasing off that action underneath. And Elijah Martin just turns nothing into something with a fadeaway, a little 1-foot fadeaway at Nowitzki.
Some subs for both teams, including Denzel Aberdeen, the junior from Orlando, number 11 in blue, back into the game for the Gators. He is the fourth guard. He can spell any one of the other three. He moves Clayton off the ball when Clayton's in there with him. Clayton's gone to the bench now. Another tough turnaround for Elijah Martin.
Boy, Elijah Martin just has a furrowed brow out there. And he's looking to take on this Wildcat team by himself.
Williams right into the chest of Condon to finish.
Boy, talk about a strong drive. That's using physicality on the offensive end. He just knocked Condon straight back.
It's Martin again. Good help by Williams. Martin for three. Offensive rebound, Richard, and he lays it back in.
But Brea never got a body on Will Richard. And Will Richard is an excellent rebounder. Grabs over 5 rebounds a game as a guard. Just went right around Brea. When the shot goes up, even as a guard, you have to turn and lay a body on somebody.
That is the 11th offensive rebound in this game for the Gators. And again, they are number 2 in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage.
And they've turned those offensive rebounds into points.
Yep.
And a couple of the stick-back buckets have been threes where they kick it out to an open three-point shooter.
11 offensive rebounds, 22 second chance points as Carr is fouled.
Well, you think of Florida as being the high-low team, but Andrew Carr has been the low man trying to get some high-low. Did it with Garrison, they turned it over, and then with Amari Williams.
So Carr at the line for Kentucky. Number 2, North Dakota State squares off against number 1, Montana State in the 47th annual FCS Championship game Monday at 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus in English and Spanish. The Bobcats and the Bison or Bison?
I say Bison.
I say Bison. We can't agree on anything, except the ice cream's pretty good.
The ice cream's great.
The ice cream's pretty good. Martin in the corner. And Hauk earns another possession for the Gators. Just came flying in and caused it.
Boy, if it went out the left hand to Carr.
The crowd did not like the fact that the ball was awarded to Florida. Martin with Carr on him. Another basket. What a second half for Elijah Martin, and he's now got 18 in the game.
And he's done it all with really tough twos. Excellent use of pivoting to create space.
12 of the 18, Jay, here in the second half, and it's a 1-point game. Williams. Up over Alexis and in.
aggressive has Amari Williams, the left-hander, been in this second half? He's the top rebounder for this Kentucky team, their top shot blocker and field goal percentage shooter. But you know he's going to go right back to that right shoulder. He is left-handed and dominant left-handed. But Alexis just brings those arms down a bit, gets that contact. You do that a lot after you make a good call.
And what did Todd Golden do? He immediately brought Alexis to the bench and put Chinyelu back into the game.
Well, Alexis is a good player. Chinyelu is way more physical.
Martin's been the man in the second half for the Gators. Three over Carr, and he's got 15 second half points, 21 in the game to again bring the Gators back within one.
Well, he got the switch with Andrew Carr on him after Lamont Butler got picked off and hit right in the face on a screen. But Elijah Martin, the transfer from Florida Atlantic, Final Four experience, Rupp not phasing him. Elijah Martin has been on fire in this second half for Florida, and he's done it with a number of tough twos, shooting over the outstretched arms of Kentucky defenders and creating his own offense. But here, after the switch, just a little step back against Andrew Carr. He's now 4 of 11 from 3, 8 of 15 overall for 21 points.
For 46 points per game, and they're just about there already with 12 minutes still to go in this one. Now they're looking to slow Kentucky down just a bit.
The 1-2-2 three-quarter court pressure from Florida. And that's less time they have to guard in the half court. Kentucky down to about 15 on the clock before they make their first pass.
Away defended by Martin. Gets a piece of the paint, got him in the air, and scores. And Owe and Martin talking to one another on their way back down the court. Those are two physically and mentally tough guys. Aberdeen is wide open and a break for Kentucky.
Everybody went with the cutter, just a miscommunication.
Owe sees some space. Chinyelu another block and got him again, but now a foul.
Chinyelu has blocked 2 dunks in this game. Amari Williams in the first half, then Owe in the second. Lamar Jackson seems to be the clubhouse leader for NFL MVP, but Burrow makes a pretty good case. Yep. If they make the playoffs.
Jega Owe at the line. He knows something about the NFL. His brother plays for the Ravens. A 5-point lead for Kentucky. Kentucky's led by many as 10. Back in the first half, Florida led by as many as 11.
Lamont Butler guarding Elijah Martin, who's been the hot hand for Florida in this second half.
Richard back to Aberdeen. Uses the ball screen from Chinyelu. Good defense by Owe. Shot clock's running down. And Martin misses it. It's a shot clock violation.
A really good defensive possession for Kentucky. That's been the difference for the Wildcats since the middle of the first half. Kentucky's defense has been stingier, and they've made it much more difficult for Florida. Early on in the game, Florida's getting any shot they wanted. But that has not been the case over the last maybe 20 minutes or so.
Williams keeps it. Now Owe. It'll go. Another bucket for Otega Owe. He's got 16. Martin a tough one. And Williams the rebound. Boy, and does it feel like Florida desperately needs a stop. They're not going to get it. Butler lays it in. Tipped by Carr. And Kentucky's got it again. Williams comes up with a loose ball. And Kentucky winning the battles right now.
Kentucky's cutting has been excellent in this game. Hard cuts. Some of them are sacrificial cuts to get others open. But their cutting has been beautiful to watch.
Butler misses the three, and a foul underneath on Hauk of the Gators. Think they're fired up here in Lexington?
Otega Owe coming off the ball. That's just a beautiful pass by Amari Williams and a tough finish, and then Lamar Butler just a step and go, and another beautiful delivery by Williams. Not enough pressure on him to discourage that pass.
Carr's got Clayton on him and scores. It's an 11-point lead, and it's another 10-0 run for the Wildcats.
Boy, that's what you call poise in the post, that beautiful shot fake to get the defenders in the air.
How does Florida try to respond?
Good switch by Carr onto Richard.
Shinyulu one-on-one with Williams. Clayton had to force it, and he hit it with one on the shot clock.
He is just a big-time shooter. Maybe that gets him going a little bit for Florida because he needs to get going.
Remember, he had 23 here in a win for the Gators last year. He's got 20 today. And he's got it again. Driving this time, too strong off the glass, but the whistle blows, and Clayton is going to the line.
You know, that was just excellent use of his perimeter shot as the threat, and then giving a little hesitation and then getting to the basket. And as the shot clock's going down, did not panic, and that's just a big-time shot as the shot clock goes to zero.
You know, we see this example over and over again these days, but you look at these three tremendously skilled guards that Florida has. One of them started his career at Iona, one of them at Florida Atlantic, one of them at Belmont, and now they're all playing at the highest level of the sport, and they're all stars.
And that to me is one of the great things about the transfer portal. You are not relegated to where you start. And some of these guys were under-recruited out of high school. They probably had loftier expectations. That's nothing against where they started. But why shouldn't you see them on this stage? Because their coaches would go if they got the opportunity.
From an 11-point deficit down to 6 now, thanks to Walter Clayton Jr. He's defending Kobe Brea at the other end. Perry has returned for Kentucky. Hit a three earlier this half.
That was the same play they just ran that got him that three.
Brea gets free just for a moment, and that's enough. He is 5 for 6 from three-point range. And again, Florida on the glass, and again, a foul. Kentucky by 9. They've had 3 separate runs of at least 10-0 here today. A couple of 10s and a 16-0 run back in the first half. Elijah Martin, a big reason why Florida is still hanging around in this one. I think regardless of what happens in the next 7 to 49, and I think we knew this already, but it's just been confirmed again. These are 2 really good teams, and they're both going to have a big say in what is going to be an unbelievable conference schedule for the SEC over the next couple of months.
Yeah, this is just a preview of what we're going to see all year long in the Southeastern Conference.
Again, Arkansas and Tennessee coming right after this one here on ESPN. Carl Ravitch, Jimmy Dykes are in Knoxville.
Boy, Kentucky doing a really nice job of spreading the floor with their 5-out look.
Garrison, another backdoor cut, this time by Robinson. Trying to gather it, it's still loose. And a held ball is going to keep it at this end of the floor. Kentucky ball with 3.3 on the shot clock.
Kentucky got into a little action with a wide pin down in the corner. And a terrific back cut by Jackson Robinson. They just couldn't complete it.
And it looks like Mark Pope has called a timeout here with 7:22 to go.
I think right here you run something for Kobe Brea. He may screen first and come off something, but look for the screener. There it is, look for the screener.
Garrison, no! And Condon did a good job waiting for that to come off the rim before he grabbed it. It is Florida ball down by 7. Tough one for Clayton. He can make tough ones. He's got 24.
Yeah, he lives off tough ones. Both he and Martin have been outstanding on the offensive end.
They've combined for 47 points. Perry in there to spell Butler again. Brea knocks down another one. Kobe Brea, 6 for 7 from 3.
He's ridiculous. The best shooter in the country.
And the opposing coach says it over and over again. Don't give him any space. Don't give him any space. But he finds it. Aberdeen into the paint. Look at the quickness on him.
And that's your fourth guard. He comes into the game and injects energy. He's probably their best on-ball defender.
6-point game. 6:15 to go.
Kentucky getting really good movement.
Good help there by Haupt. Brea kicks it out. Garrison back to Brea. Trying to get the shot off. And he does! Unbelievable game for Kobe Brea. A career high 7 made three-pointers.
He cannot shoot enough as far as I'm concerned.
Haupt, Condon the rebound. Haupt with a great cut, and he's going to the line.
Wait, how about the poise of Kobe Brea? Here, not very much space at all, but just a catch and release. But here, multiple shot fakes. And just lets the defender fly by and knocks down his 7th three of the game. And it's not like he shot 14 of them. What is he, 7 of 8?
7 of 8.
How did he miss that one?
Career high in threes, career high in points with Kentucky.
Well, you hear some guys that'll say, hey, every time he shoots it, you think it's going in. That's because every time he shoots it, it goes in.
I don't even think the announcer jinx would work on him shooting a 3.
Just ridiculous.
Haupt makes them both. 7-point game. He'll get a rest. Chinyelu returns.
And with Brea out on the floor, he's going to draw so much attention. That opens up things for cuts for his teammates. Talk about stretching a defense. You have to devote a defender to Brea, and he can't help off. Now it's Will Richard.
Brea back out beyond the line. He's got a big on him in Condon. Here he goes. In and out. And Condon, defended by Brea, takes advantage of the size mismatch at the other end. You talk about doing your work early. And a good job by Condon there to set up nice and early on Brea. Kentucky over the limit. Condon to the line, 1-1.
Condon at the line for 1 minute.
Chinyelu, the offensive rebound. And then out of bounds, it is Florida ball.
Well, Chinyelu just gets extra possessions for you. That's on a free throw block out. He's just so physical and relentless going after the offensive rebound.
He's got 8 rebounds today, 5 of them at the offensive end. Clayton got it, and it's a 4-point game.
And not surprisingly, Chinyelu was the one that got him open with that physical screen on Lamont Butler.
27 now for Walter Clayton Jr. 17 of them here in the second half. Carr alone. And it's Florida ball. Elijah Martin with the rebound.
This feels like a big possession for Florida.
Boy, both teams have played so hard and so well in this one. And another foul. It's on Owe, and Clayton will go to the line.
Owe was really trying to keep Walter Clayton Jr. to the left side of the floor, but watch this terrific screen by Chinyelu to get Walter Clayton Jr. that shot. And you don't talk often about screeners, but Chinyelu is an excellent screener. You know, not only is he big and wide and physical, he hunts out bodies and he frees up his teammates for open shots. That was a screen assist right there. You don't get the assist, but he should.
Whatever happens here today, I think both of these coaches, and they expected as much in this kind of a game, I think both coaches have to say my team can play with just about anybody, no matter who wins this game.
Oh, there's no question, especially in this league. That was the point earlier about you can play really well in this league and lose.
Yep. Nobody is roaring through this league with just a couple of losses this year.
13-5 may win the whole thing.
Clayton has tied his season high with 29 points and brought the Gators back within 2.
He had 33 last year against Colorado in the NCAA tournament. He can put numbers up.
Here's Brea again. 4 minutes to go in regulation. Good help by Chinyelu. Garrison open beyond the arc. Now Butler. Lob up top, deflected away by Chinyelu. Off turnovers. You know, Florida's only turned it over 9 times, but Kentucky has turned those turnovers into 20 points.
Yeah, they've been very efficient scoring off those turnovers.
Lamont Butler knocks down a corner 3.
Boy, it's so often the inbounder that's open off of that sort of action, and Lamont Butler making Florida pay.
Kentucky 13 of 27, 48% from 3. Clayton leaves it short, and Butler's got it. Knocked out of bounds. Did they get a foul there? They did. Clayton called for a foul on that play.
Take a look at Lamont Butler. He's the inbounder, and the action is run away from him. And as soon as they run a little curl cut to try to get a lob to take away, but just as soon as he got it into Carr, he just ran to the corner and was wide open. There's so much going on in these out-of-bounds plays for Kentucky. A lot of different actions to guard.
Butler now with 15 points and 6 assists in this game. Mark Pope knows all about this building. Was a player here for a couple of years, a captain on the 1996 championship team. As a player and coach, Mark Pope is 25-1 in this building. And it's back to 7.
There is plenty of time for Florida. They've gotten some good action off that little fade up top.
2-man game, Martin and Hauk. And how about Hauk showing some strength to get to the rim?
That was strength. Got the ball right in the middle of the floor and really used his body well. He's a different player from last year to this year.
Hauk now with 9. Robinson a miss. Clayton the rebound, but it's knocked away. And Kentucky's got it. Another block at the rim. Martin with a full head of steam. Condon, guarded by Garrison, lost it on the way up. A foul is called. It will be on Brandon Garrison, who has fouled out of the game.
Well, Condon just got one-on-one in the post, took his time. Nobody came to double. once you get into the middle of the lane, he's tough to stop there.
Condon at the line for two. A reminder, Arkansas, Tennessee starting momentarily on ESPN News. We'll come here to ESPN at the conclusion of this one.
Florida's been to the line quite a bit in this game. I think that might have been their 30th free throw.
Correct, 21 of 30 to 11 of 16 for Kentucky. 1 of 2. Butler, Martin recovers. Now Carr. Up and in. Beautiful move in the paint by Andrew Carr.
Got such a great feel in the post to go off contact. He got all the way to the other side of the basket from the left block.
2 minutes in regulation. Condon fakes the three and draws another foul.
Williams cannot leave the floor on that fake. Condon just gave him a little shot fake, and once he lifted his eyebrows, but look at Carr here, just pivots and gets to the other side of the bucket. That's a terrific move by the transfer from Wake Forest. He's been so efficient on this season.
Condon the make, now 3 of 7 from the line in this game, and every shot, every trip, so critical for Florida right now as Todd Golden will use a timeout. Condon left it short, Brea's got it. So not only do they not get a point, also Todd Golden was going to get Chinyelu back into the game at the defensive end, but he can't make that change. Butler in control for the Cats, now Brea. Richard on it. Carr behind the back. Looking for help, hits Butler, 3 to shoot. Carr for 3, got it! That possession, and Andrew Carr stepped up and made a huge 3.
After the little handoff, there was zero panic as the shot clock was going down, but they got 2 on the ball, both Martin and Condon, both on the ball, and an intelligent pass from Lamont Butler for playing this early. It'd be a lot easier if the players drank coffee. Most of them don't.
1:10 to go. Seconds are ticking away. Shot clock at 10. Clayton taking matters into his own hands, and he banks it home. He's got 31.
Boy, he's got everything in that bag.
Butler spins on House. And will go to the line for 2.
Lamont Butler has been in total control of what he's doing out on the floor. Had Houck on him, gave a little spin, got him to the rim, and rather than go up right away, he made sure that he could get the contact and get the foul.
The only shame about this game is this is the only regular season meeting between these two. With the conference growing so big, you don't get to play everybody twice. We mentioned it way back early in the first half. This is the first time in 60 years these two programs will only meet once during the regular season. But who knows? Maybe they'll see each other in Nashville in the SEC tournament, or even beyond that, deep in the NCAA tournament. Clayton again. Another offensive rebound. Richard sticks it back in.
Boy, the offensive glass has really been a big factor.
15th offensive rebound for Florida as a team. Again, second in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. 31 points.
Elijah Martin gets his steals on the ball. He can take it right out of your hands.
Brea into Carr, back to Brea, ahead to Butler. They get it over. Well done by the Wildcats.
At least in this game. He's normally an 80% free throw shooter. So right now for Kentucky, it's no threes, no fouls.
Mark Pope's got a smaller lineup out there right now. 4 guards along with Carr, wanting to have as much ball handling out there as he can to deal with this pressure he knows is coming.
Well, it's ball handling, but it's also to guard the three-point line.
7-point game, 30 seconds to go. Clayton. Foul by Carr. And Clayton back to the line.
And that's the last thing Kentucky wanted there. You know, make him finish the tough 2, but it's only 2. You don't want to stop the clock. But give Andrew Carr credit. He went up to try to challenge the shot, but you just don't want to give up a foul there. It's just, you stop the clock, and plus it's more difficult to inbound the ball going after a made free throw.
But Clayton, who came in 91% on the season, that is his 3rd miss today. He is 9 for 12. As now Condon is out, Aberdeen in for the Gators. Missed them both. And looking up to the ceiling, Clayton just beside himself that he couldn't knock down those free throws.
If you're going to foul now, Lamont Butler has the lowest free throw percentage, but he's a tough dude, and you don't see him missing in this situation.
And it will indeed be Butler going to the line.
That's his first on the team's 10.
Florida won in here in overtime last year. Trying to make it 2 in a row, but up against it right now big time. Down 7, 21.4 to go, and Butler with the line for the Cats. A loss today would be the first of the season for the Gators and would leave only 2 remaining undefeated teams. Tennessee, which is underway against Arkansas, and Oklahoma, which is at Alabama later tonight. Butler now with 19 and a career high 8 assists. Martin from the corner hits the 3.
It wasn't like there wasn't pressure on him. Otega Owe with the challenge.
13.6 to go, 6-point game. Into Robinson, and they'll foul him right away.
Jackson Robinson, another 80% free throw shooter. That's a luxury late in the game for Mark Pope when he's got so many players that can step to the line and knock down free throws in key situations.
Robinson with a dozen in this game today.
One of the things I think Mark Pope has to feel best about in this game is how Kentucky, his team, has dealt with physicality against both Clemson and Ohio State. I think the physicality of those 2 teams maybe got to Kentucky a little bit, and they're going to continue to see that. It's not like other coaches aren't watching film saying we got to be physical.
And the lead is 8. Clayton scoops it up and eventually in. 33 points now for Walter Clayton Jr. And what is this discussion about between the officials? It may be a clock issue. Did the clock stop before the ball went through the net?
Yeah, it was rolling around as it was going in. And it's supposed to clear the net before the clock stops.
The previous play is under review for timing.
see the clock there to the left of your screen. It stops there, and the ball's nowhere near it. We're going to have to take some time off.
Now we got to get the stopwatch out. Has been fantastic.
Yep. Kentucky at 58%, Florida at 55. Jump ball corralled by Carr, and that'll do it. What a way to get SEC play underway. What a scene here at Rupp Arena. The third